Yesterday was Collin McKinney Day in Anna and Van Alstyne. The events surrounding the day actually started and ended in Anna. I'll let their media people handle those parts of the day. But from 2 to 4, it was Van Alstyne's turn to shine. 3 stops in 2 hours. The Van Alstyne Historical Museum, the First Christian Church, and Dowling Distilling, who actually had this event inside of another event. I'll explain that here in just a bit. Let's start in the museum, where actors were actually portraying people from Van Alstyne's past. I'll be quiet and let you take a sample tour your own self.
I'm so glad to have y'all today. My name is Mary Cartwright, and this is my house. And this was my house since, a long time ago, actually. I lived here until actually 1949. And I want to tell you just a little bit about the house, and I'm not sure if y'all already know anything about this house or not, but the house was actually built in 1890, and it was not built here, actually. It was built east of town, probably about 5 or 6 miles out past Lincoln Park Road. And then it was brought to town on logs pulled by mules. This is the kitchen of the house that we're in. And the houses at that time would have had a kitchen house separate, where we would have done the cooking outside in another area to save from fires and things like that. And so the food would have been brought in to the kitchen.
Well, this is we have items here from Chief Will Eccles. This is his photograph here, and there's his wife, Ethel. There's an alley where he was shot during the gunfight in 1929. And here's the belt he was wearing at the time. You see the 32 caliber bullet hole through the belt buckle. It has his initials on it, and it clipped an artery. And he also got shot in the right leg. Died a few days later. But he was born in 1862. His dad was in the Civil War. And so Will Eccles, he was the police officer here in town for 46 years, from 1883 when he was 21 years old until 1929, the time of Prohibition, when he was killed.
Yeah, come on in. I always say not too close because this is authentic. So it has been used, more than likely. But hi, is there anybody else?
Nope, it's us.
Okay, hi. My name is Robbie Nez Fanning Fox, and I was the first licensed female undertaker in Texas. So I got my embalming license in 1929. I went to college for that, so it's kind of a big deal in the 20s. And then I received my director for funeral licensing shortly thereafter. And I spent most of my time in my career and family life in Van Alstyne. I wasn't born here. I was born in Greenville, Texas, February 5th, 1905. I went to the public schools there, and I met my husband, Lorenza. We called him LK Fox. And we were married in 1921 when I was just 17.
Go ahead and tell you the rest of the story. My daddy married another woman, Miss Betsy.
Yeah.
And I had 3 more brothers and 4 more sisters. Is that one of them? And that's what is important, is that because they fought in the independence of Texas, they all got land.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Texana.
Come in.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
I'm Susan Berryhill, and I'm portraying my great-grandmother, Texana Dumas. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I became a Texan. I was born a Texan, just about 6 miles down the road in a little town, or little community by the name of Sister Grove on January the 3rd, 1846. Now, that was before Van Alstyne was even thought about, and before Old Town of Mantua was even built. So my papa and my mama were early pioneers of this area.
Then to the beautiful painted glass inside the sanctuary of the First Christian Church. Many of the glass panels honor founding members of the church, which includes Collin McKinney. The church was founded in 1846, as you can see here. The painted glass itself has quite a history. These were made by the Jacoby Glass Company. The Jacoby brothers, originally from Germany, opened an office in St. Louis in the late 1900s. Salesmen traveled the country looking for buyers. It is believed that they ended up in Van Alstyne, of course, traveling the interurban. If you haven't seen these works of art, you owe it to yourself to head over to the First Christian Church and see it for yourself. Then it was on to Dowling Distilling at 3 o'clock. There was a presentation about the interurban presented by the Interurban Museum located in Plano. It was a good-looking crowd, and we all learned some interesting things about how the interurban served Van Alstyne.
And in that time, American Car Company built 3 cars for $4,800. It was one of my favorite things. And you know, $4,800 today, we need at least $30,000 just to paint our car again. Okay, just to let you know, there's quite a difference now. But when you come up here later and look, this is what the car looked like. They were reconfigured to have a post office at one end of the passenger train. They were renumbered to 360, 361, and 362.
So this event was inside of Dowling Distilling's other event, which was a relaunch of their Rail Ride Bourbon.
We brought the bourbon back that we started with the first release being the Rail Ride. It's a high ride bourbon, and so we played with the wording and had fun with it. But turns out that wheat and rye and those kinds of things were all started in the Denison and Sherman area where the interurban started. So we combined today the release of our interurban bourbon Rail Ride with an event where we had the historical societies of Van Alstyne come in and the Interurban Museum in Plano come in, and we did a big combined event. Everybody got to learn about the interurban, got to try some of our bourbon. We had a good time. So
it was really good. The final event of the day was bingo in Anna at 6 o'clock. The proceeds were split between the historical societies of Van Alstyne, Anna, and Melissa. It was a very informative and super fun day. Reporting not from Anna, but for the city of Van Alstyne, I'm Mike Shaw.